Hello, welcome to Coog Cinema Reviews. I'm your host, Sol Carlos, and I'm here joined with
Kiyan Badkoubeh.
And today we'll be reviewing the latest Pixar movie, COCO.
After spending the past 2 years providing us with sequels such as Finding Dory and Cars 3, and spending the next 2 years on The Incredibles 2 and Toy Story 4, Pixar finally gave us a break from all the sequels and released its first original animated feature film since Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur in 2015. Does Pixar still know how to make a good original animated film? Or should we all be thankful that after COCO, Pixar will be returning to sequels for a while? Let's find out.
Music!
COCO takes place in Mexico and follows the story of a young boy named Miguel Rivera as he deals with the restraints put on him by his family's ancestral history on Dia De Los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. He dreams of being a musician, but struggles to accept that in his family, music is banned due to an incident that took place generations before he was born. After an altercation with his family over core values, Miguel finds himself lost and trapped in the land of the dead and must find a way back to the world of the living before time runs out and the holiday is over. All right. Well, let me just start by saying this movie was amazing, guys. Pixar's back.
I absolutely adore this film. I try to go with low expectations, but at the same time I couldn't because all the great reviews coming from Mexico. I was like, I really want to like this, please be good. And I'm so happy and I cannot wait to watch it again. I want to watch it as soon as possible again.
I saw it twice, so it's definitely worth watching.
Definitely.
There's so many things to go down the list and talk about why this movie is amazing. And I mean, the first one we'll start off with right off the bat is, as usual, the animation. Pixar's animation is by far outstanding in this film. It's beautiful, it's colorful. There are literally colors everywhere and everything just pops out at you from the screen, and it's so beautiful to look at what they've done with this world and the characters and just the details, and it is beautiful animation.
I think the same way. I think the animation is nothing like I've ever seen before. Pixar, again, is always challenging itself by improving its animation, especially the crowd scenes. It was so a new feeling, and I'm gonna say this, but when I was watching Moana, everyone in the town, whatever, looked the same. Here, every single person in the movie looks so real, like someone I would actually see on the streets of Mexico. And I think that's something so special because you're representing a culture. And I think it's very important to, don't copy paste people in the background. And I think that was something really great. And I think the colors especially are very amazing. You can really see a difference between when they're in the real world, like in Mexico, and then in the land of the dead. You can really see the contrast of colors. And I think each world was so unique and so, they put so much attention to details. And I think it's phenomenal.
Moving on to just the story and the plot. The thing about this story is that throughout the first third, I would say, you're gonna feel like you've seen it before. But the thing about Pixar is that what they do with this story and where it is they take it in such new directions, and they're playing around with it in this new world that I've never seen these stories told in this kind of setting. And that just added on to the feeling that it was genuine and it was natural. It didn't feel forced.
Yeah, the story is definitely very well thought. Like you said, there are some cliches, but they make it unique, their own. And there's so much heart in this story that in the end, cliches happen, but you're but it feels right. And like you said, maybe the first third might feel a bit cliche, but then hold on to your seat for the second to third part. It's unbelievable. I say that this movie is a completely roller coaster of emotions. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be angry, and just all the emotion is an amazing journey, like you said. I didn't know how we were gonna get to this point from A to B, or the way they were gonna introduce to this situation. I knew that it was gonna happen, but I didn't know how, or how it was gonna be the reaction. And there were so many moments where I gasped during this movie. I was oh, and then I would hold on my sister, no, that did just not happen. It was a very, there was a lot of reaction in the audience. You could really see everyone was invested.
that is one of the things that really quick I just want to get out of the way and say, if you can, go see this movie as soon as possible with theaters with an audience, because the most satisfying feeling is watching this movie with an audience and having the reactions with them, because this movie was very, it drove reactions out of the audience, and that's how you know that this was a great movie, because everyone was engaged in it. I heard adults engaged in it, I heard the kids engaged in it. Like, this movie had people captivated.
Yeah.
And then at the end, just to hear like applause at the end of the movie and like cheering, like definitely I recommend it. The sooner you can go see this in theaters while it's still getting packed, then go do that. Ending with story, the last thing I want to talk about is just that the message of this movie and like the, I guess, central theme of it is so important and so well done, and it hits like home so well. Yeah. The story has like such a beautiful message of themes on life and death and the legacy that we leave behind, and
family.
And family versus sacrifices that one has to make in order to be successful. And I think that's just such an important topic to be trying to teach both children and adults nowadays. And like, I think it really hit home with a lot of people, and they did it in such a way where they like take these big topics and they not simplify it down to where like it's like, okay, then that's not the topic anymore. They translate it so that people of any age can understand it and interpret it, the way it's meant to be interpreted. And I just think that's so beautiful and worth noting, is that this is a movie with meaning and power, and it's so powerful.
Yeah, honestly, I know many people talk about Up and all those movies where they really get your feelings, but honestly, I think this is Pixar's #1 movie that got me the most. It's mostly because I relate a lot with the themes as a Hispanic, and I feel like everyone can relate to this film. Everyone can relate about family, maybe even losing someone. It's very, even if you're not from Mexico or you don't celebrate this holiday, every person, I feel like they can relate to this film.
Yes.
And that's something very powerful. And the message, like you said, I think it's very important to, I feel like this film, you have to see it with your family. I mean, it's amazing to go with your family and kind of, when you leave, you kind of like open to this, your eyes open to this new idea, and you want to learn more about your legacy. And I was very questioning to my mom, like, oh, tell me about your past and everything. And you kind of connect with your family in this film, and I think it's a very cool idea to bring your family.
This movie did amazing with its characters. They were so well developed. There was not a single character that I felt like I was like, oh, dang it, like I wanted to see more of them, or oh, if they had just taken it a step further. Like, every character was so satisfying, so well thought out. Their backstories, who they were, how they were introduced was so well done. Like, you're invested in it, and like you actually genuinely start to care and want to get to know these characters. And then on that note, a lot of that has to be attributed to the voice acting in this movie. The voice acting in this movie is by far one of the best voice actings to an animated film that I've heard in a while. The kid that plays Miguel did a phenomenal job of like capturing what it's like to actually be a 10-year-old, like, because I think he's 10 year olds, but like to be a kid, and just every single character throughout, just the voice acting was amazing. The characters are believable, they're real, and yeah, that's that.
I think the characters are so lovable. You can really see the progression of these characters. You can really see, at the beginning I was like, I'm not a huge fan of this character, but then towards the end I was like, I love this character. There was a lot of that. And what I think was great is that what Pixar did was you had really strong feelings towards these characters. The people you were supposed to hate, oh, you really hated them. Not gonna say anything, and the people you're supposed to love, you really slowly grow with them, and you really start really liking them towards the end, maybe relating, and you want to see these characters winning or achieving what they want. I watched this movie in Spanish. That's something I want to say here. If you want to watch this movie in Spanish, if you're bilingual like me, and you want to watch this film in Spanish, I highly, highly recommend it, especially with the songs. The songs sound amazing in Spanish, and you can just type it on Google, like, COCO Spanish movie theaters, and you can go see it, and I highly recommend it. And the voice acting is phenomenal.
So on that note, moving on to the music, because the music was a big part of this film. Really quick, let me just get it out of the way, because I was one of the people that I guess went in thinking it was going to be like this. This is not a musical. Music is a central part of the story, and so on that note, the music was so good. The music was worth it. It was beautiful to listen to. I was jamming in the theater. It was so nice. It was a breath of fresh air. The music never feels overdone. and is only used when needed to further the story.
I'm gonna talk about the musical. So like you said, this is not a musical where it's like, I'm happy and I just found the love of my life. You know, they're not singing what is happening. There's music, it's like an element in the story. But something I disagree with you is that I feel like the music is, if you see the titles, you see the lyrics, they're definitely like foreshadowing or just pushing the themes of this film about remembering your ancestors, or even characters. There's lyrics of songs so that you later on find out how they feel. I don't know, I don't want to give anything away, but the lyrics and music have a purpose, and they are one big reason where you get the themes of this film, the message. And I really enjoy the music. I'm gonna say though that I mentioned it briefly before, that I think the music is better in Spanish. I listen to both soundtracks, and I do enjoy some of the songs in English, but I feel that in the Spanish version, it definitely feels more authentic, because the voice that they use, they do this kind of sound, it's called falsetto, and it's kind of the authentic way to sing this type of music in Mexico. So it felt more, like it matched more for me, and that's why it felt more real, that it matched more with the world. But I understand they had to also translate in English in order to people who don't speak Spanish to understand it. But I would highly recommend if you want to listen to the soundtrack in Spanish.
And so that ties into, I think, one of our last points is that this movie is culturally accurate. Like, that's so important in today's society nowadays with movies and where they want to go. And the reason we say that is, like, Dia de los Muertos in this movie is not just used as a colorful background to like put in a random story as like, you know, to serve as the backdrop to a story that has no relation to the Mexican people or human nature in general. Instead, Dia de los Muertos is the central focus of the story, and it really, like, the story would not be what it is without the themes and importance of what Dia de los Muertos means to people that celebrate it. Just to disclaimer, this is not Book of Life.
No.
And anyone that tries telling you that this movie is just another Book of Life ripoff that's like saying that every Christmas movie is the same.
They did a wonderful job depicting this culture. Not only, I think it was more of the small moments, like the way families interact with one another, things like the food, or things like alebrijes, things from the culture. Those little things are so well done. They did really do their research, even with Dante the dog. He's a very famous, like a Mexican dog, and just little things like that are so different from the Book of Life. And I think it's so important to have this film in Hollywood. Like you said, there's so many Hispanics in the United States, and you don't see that much movies or representation in Hollywood. And I think for Pixar to do not a TV show, like an actual film, is a huge step, and I think it's very important, and Hispanics would love it, and non-Hispanics would love it.
So this, I thought about this for a good long time after seeing the movie, and then I saw the movie again, and just after taking a long time to think about it, for me at least, this is Pixar's best film. This is the best Pixar film out there to date right now. So that's my opinion. If you feel that you've agreed with a lot of my past opinions, then, you know, and you haven't seen this, go watch it, because this, and you know, and whether you agree that it's the best or not, I think the majority of people agree that this is like one of top 5 Pixar's best films. So, you know, this has definitely made its mark. This film throughout, I was watching it and it was giving me like some hints of like familiarness, and I didn't know what was putting my finger on it. And then at the end, I figured out kind of what I was thinking of. So if you enjoyed Inside Out, if you enjoyed Ratatouille, and if you enjoyed Meet the Robinsons, you're gonna love this movie, because this movie just took elements from those movies and like feelings from those movies and just took it and did it in its own way, and it was so beautiful. So I just want to put that out there. Like we said earlier, go watch it in theaters. Don't wait. I watched it twice. She wants to watch it twice.
Maybe
you
3
should
times.
Go watch it.
For me, baby, a 9 out of 10. I don't know why. No, I don't know. It's just amazing. I don't like putting ratings, to be honest. If you want Pixar to create more movies and things that represent more cultures, it needs this. It needs the support.
Yeah.
Just a little warning. There's a Frozen short in front of Coco. It's 20 minutes long. Many people did not know how long it is. I personally enjoyed it. I'm not a Frozen fan, but I did find it enjoyable and fun. But if you're not a fan and you're not interested, you want to just see Coco, show up a little bit late.
And
just a little warning.
If you're there early, don't panic. Don't go ask the workers if
Yeah,
they're playing
you
the
didn't
right
get to the wrong movie.
Yeah. I give it a 10 out of 10. Strongly recommend. Be sure to leave a comment down below letting us know what you thought about Disney Pixar's movie COCO, and of course, if you have a thought on the Olaf short, go ahead and leave that down below too. Be sure to hit that like button on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more Coog Cinema reviews.
Go ahead and watch our in-depth discussion with all spoilers, and it's very fun us geeking out about this movie we absolutely love, so please be a part of it. I'm your host, Sol Carlos.
And I'm Kiyan Badkoubeh.
And thank you for watching.
Hey Sol, do you have finals coming up?
Of course.
Well, me too. You know what I've been studying?
What?
Coog TV On Demand. And you know what Coog TV On Demand is?
I don't know. What is it?
Well, it's a place where you can procrastinate on all your finals. Just kidding, school's important, kids. But for real, Coog TV On Demand is the place that you can go after you finish your finals because it is free movies. As long as you are on campus and you have UH Wi-Fi, you can log on to coogtv.com/on-demand and you have a selection of movies to choose from. I know I've been binging the Lego Batman movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and Angry Birds. And there's horror, there's drama, there's action, so definitely go check that out. Again, it's free for UH students, but I would recommend doing it after your finals.
Or not.